Friends, welcome to Abhivakti India's Future Classroom. And in today's episode, we are going to take a mock test on compound interest, the problems that are asked in SSC CGL examination. And I request you, when I read the question, just pause the video and note down the question and solve it, and then go further to check whether your answer is correct or not. So here we will start with the first question. Before starting with the first question, please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed it, because if you subscribe to the channel, you will get the updates right into your mailbox. And please like the video and share it with your friends. And here is the first question on the screen. Please pause the video, note down the question. After pausing the video, note down the question and solve it. And once you got the answer, go further to check whether your answer is correct or not. So here is the first question on the screen. If the compound interest on a certain sum for 2 years at 4% per annum is rupees 102, the simple interest at the same rate of interest for 2 years would be. Here the compound interest for 2 years at the rate of 4% is given as 102 rupees, and we have to find the simple interest on the same sum for 2 years and same rate of interest. Now in this question we do not know the principal amount, and since we do not know the principal amount, we cannot find the simple interest. But because of the first condition, we can find the principal amount, and once we got the principal, we can find the simple interest for 2 years at the rate of 4% per annum. So first of all, we will assume that let the principal be rupees 100. Principal 100 रुपए है, यह समझ लीजिए. And for 2 years, the compound interest is given at the rate of 4% per annum. And so for 100 rupees, so for first year, the interest at the rate of 4% will be rupees 4, and this total amount in the next year will become 104. Then in the next year, the interest will be given on this principal, that is 104 rupees, and the rate will be 4%. So 4% of 104, that will be equal to 4.16. 1% will be 1.04, and therefore 4% will be 4.16, and therefore this together will be equal to 108.16. When we invest 100 rupees at the rate of 4% for 2 years, we get the total amount as 108.16 rupees. It means we get the interest, that is 8.16. This is the compound interest. So when the compound interest that received is 8.16, the principal amount will be what? Rupees 100. And here the compound interest given is 102 rupees. So when the compound interest will be 102 rupees, what will be the principal amount? This is the direct variation. Why it is a direct variation? Because the compound interest is increased. It means here the principal amount will also increase. So when it is a case of direct variation, we multiply by these two and divide by the first one. So it will be 102 multiplied by 100 divided by 8.16. And if you solve this, you will get it as 1000 250 rupees. So the principal that will be equal to rupees 1250. Now you have got the principal, and now we will find the simple interest. Now to find the simple interest, we will have to find the effective rate. For first year it will be 4%, then for the second year again it will be the 4%, and therefore the effective rate of interest for 2 years will be 8%, and therefore simple interest that will be equal to 8% of 1250. So this 0 and this 0 will get cancelled, and if you calculate it, you will get which is equal to rupees 100, and therefore the simple interest which is equal to rupees 100. The next question is on the screen. On what sum does the difference between the compound interest and the simple interest for 3 years at 10% is rupees 31. Now here the difference between the compound interest and simple interest is given as rupees 31, and the amount invested for 3 years at the rate of 10% per annum. So here the given things are: rate is 10% and time that is equal to 3 years. We do not know the principal amount, so first we will assume the principal amount. Now here you see there is a trick in assuming the principal amount. Since the rate is 10% and the time is 3 years, so take 10 to the power 3, that is equal to 1000, and therefore let P is equal to 1000. So P is 1000. So for rupees 1000 for the first year, the 10% rate, the interest will be 100 rupees, and so the total amount will be 1000 plus 100, that is 1100. In the second year, again the 10% interest will be given on the amount 1100, because we are calculating the compound interest, and so it will be 110. 10% of 1100 will be 110, so the total will be 1210. For the third year, the 10% rate of interest will be given on the amount 1210, and so it will be 121. So the total amount will be 1331. So if the principal is rupees 1000, then the amount received at the end of 3 years will be 1331, and so the compound interest will be 331 rupees. Now we will calculate the simple interest. So the amount invested is rupees 1000, rate of interest is 10%, and the time is 3 years, and therefore the effective rate for 3 years will be 10 into 3, that is equal to 30%, and therefore simple interest will be 30% of 1000. So these two zeros will be cancelled, and so which is equal to 300. So simple interest is rupees 300 and compound interest is rupees 331, and so the difference that is equal to rupees 31, and it is given that the difference is 31. So what should be the sum? When we are getting the difference as 31, we are taking sum as rupees 1000, and therefore sum is equal to 1000 rupees. The next question is on the screen, and it is that a sum of money at compound interest double itself in 15 years. It will become 8 times in how many years? Now, on a sum of money, a compound interest is given, and it is said that that amount doubles in 15 years, and it is asked that in how many years it will get 8 times. So first we will assume that let the principal be 100, and so for the first year, means first 15 years, what will happen? This will get doubled, so it will be 200. After next 15 years, it will get doubled. 200 will become 400, so it will be 400. After 15 years, this amount will get doubled, and so it will become 800. Initially it was 100, now it is 800, so it is of course 8 times, and therefore 15 plus 15 plus 15, so the time required to get it 8 times will be 45 years. The next question is on the screen. At what percent per annum will rupees 3000 amounts to rupees 3993 in 3 years if the interest is compounded annually? The principal amount is rupees 3000, and the amount after 3 years is 3993, and the time is 3 years, and we have to find the rate of interest. So here P is equal to rupees 3000, amount that is equal to rupees 3993, and time given is 3 years, and we have to find the rate. We know the formula for amount, and that formula is amount is equal to P into bracket 1 plus R by 100 to the power n, where A is amount that is given, P is principal that is given, n is given that is 3 years, and here the rate that we have to calculate. So by using this formula we can find the rate in the given condition, but this will be little bit lengthy. So to find it in a shortest way, you can take principal is given as 3000 and amount is given as 3993. So take the ratio of these two numbers, and the ratio of these two numbers will be 1000 and 1331. This will be the ratio. Now take the cube root of these two numbers, because we are taking it for 3 years, and so cube root of 1000, that will be 10, and cube root of 1331, that is 11. So two numbers we are getting 10 and 11. So take it as if the principal is 10 rupees, then the amount will be 11, and if the principal is 100 rupees, then what will be the amount? Principal is 10. If the principal is 10, the amount will be 11, and if the principal is 100, then what will be the amount? Here the principal is increased, definitely the amount will also increase, and so it is a case of direct variation. And in direct variation we multiply this 2 and divide by the first number, and so it will be 100 into 11 divided by 10. So this 0 and 0 will get cancelled, and so which is equal to 110. And since the principal is 100 rupees, we are getting the amount as 110. It means we are getting rupees 10 more per 100 rupees, and therefore rate of interest will be 10%. So in this case the rate of interest is 10%. See, once again you can solve it by this formula also, but that will be little bit lengthy. So take the principal and amount, find the ratio of these two. 1000 is to 1331 will be ratio of the principal to amount. Now take the cube root of these two numbers. So cube root of 1000 will be 10 and cube root of 1331 will be 11. So take principal as 10. When the principal is 10, the amount will be 11. So when the principal is 100, what will be the amount? So this is the case of direct variation. We multiply these two, 100 into 11 divided by 100, that will be 110. So for rupees 100 we are getting 110 at the end of 3 years. It means the rate of interest charged is 10%. Now the next question is that the compound interest on rupees 10,000 for 2 years at 4% per annum, the interest being compounded half yearly. We have to calculate the compound interest on rupees 10,000 rupees for 2 years at 4% per annum, and it is said that the interest is compounded half yearly. So here the given things are: principal is rupees 10,000, time is 2 years, and rate is equal to 4% per annum. And since the interest is compounded half yearly, this rate of interest will be half of this 4%, so it will be 2% half yearly. And the principal is 10,000 rupees. So for 10,000 rupees, the interest for the first year, first half year, means first 6 months, at the rate of 2% will be 200 rupees, and therefore the total amount will be 10,000 plus 200, that is equal to 10,200. Now after, in the second half, again the 2% interest will be there on this amount, that is 10,200, and so it will be 204, and so the total amount will be 10,200 plus 204, that is equal to 10,404. And for the next 6 months, again 2% rate of interest. So 2% of 10,404, that will be 208.08. So this total amount will be 10,612.08. Then for the next half month, again 2% will be calculated on this amount. So 2% of this amount will be equal to 212.24. So add this to get the total amount. So it will be 10,824.32. So initially it was 10,000. Now it is 10,824.32. It means the compound interest will be equal to 824.32. Now the next question is on the screen. In how many years will rupees 2,000 amounts to rupees 2,420 at 10% per annum compounded interest? So here the principal is rupees 2,000 and the amount that is equal to 2420 and the rate that is equal to 10%. So principal is 2000, amount is 2420. The ratio of these two will be 100 is to 121. So if the principal is rupees 100, then the amount will be 121. So if the principal is 100 and the rate of interest is 10%, so for the first year the interest will be 10 rupees, and so the amount after first year will become 110 rupees. Then again in the next year 10% will be charged, and so for 110 rupees 10% will be 11 rupees, and so the total amount 110 plus 11, that will be equal to 121. So 100 rupees becomes 121 in first year and second year, so there will be 2 years. So the time will be equal to 2 years. Or you can do this in another way also. The principal is rupees 2000. Then first year at the rate of 10%, the interest will be rupees 200. So 10% of 2000 will be 200. And so the total amount will be 2000 plus 200 will be 2200. Then in the next year, again at the rate of interest 10%, the interest will be 10% of 2200, so it will be 220, and therefore the total amount after 2 years will be 2200 plus 220, so it will be 2420. So 2000 became 2420. This is the principal and this is the amount in how many years? In 2 years. So time will be equal to 2 years. The next question on the screen is the difference between the simple interest and compound interest on certain sum of money at 5% rate of interest per annum for 2 years is rupees 15, and you have to find what is the sum. The difference between the compound interest and the simple interest on a certain sum, that sum we do not know, on of a money at 5% rate of interest per annum is 2 years is rupees 15. The difference is rupees 15, time is 2 years, and rate of interest is 5%, and we have to find the sum. The difference between compound interest and simple interest is given by the formula r square by 100% if it is for 2 years. More than 2 years you cannot use this formula. More for 3 years there is another formula, and generally for 4 years and onwards it is not asked. So for 2 years this formula is used, that compound interest minus simple interest is equal to r square by 100, so which is equal to 5 square by 100, so which is equal to 25 by 100. So 25 ones are 25, 25 fours are 100, so which is equal to 1/4%. So 1/4% of sum, that is what the difference in the compound interest and some simple interest, and that difference is given as rupees 15. So 1/4% of sum, that is equal to 15, and therefore sum is equal to 15 into 4 into 100, and which is equal to 6000. So the sum is equal to rupees 6000. Friends, you might have enjoyed this video. Then go to thumbs up button and click. Then go to share tab and share with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus and many more. And to get the updates right in your mailbox, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.